Well, gentlemen, the dry area has a first course and the wet area has two. So, I guess we'd say the back wall has its first course. This tile is the second tile for that. It needs a plug-in cutout. And I believe, this tile's second one cut. If not, then I have both of those seconds. It is a little crooked in the corner there, but nothing a little caulk won't fix. Just make sure these edges are even. And gotta get some of the Schluter trim cut. It's gonna go from this jamb all the way around the top. And then once I get this first two courses done, so it's even with that, I'll start on the third course here. It'll get Schluter trim down this seam, and up there will need some Schluter trim. And then I'll cut the trim for both of the niches. Those two pieces are going to be a pain in the butt. Half of both of those holes will be cut out of those two pieces. And then the whole niche, my plan is, when I cut this, it gets cut a little over, it gets cut about even. Because the tile that goes in here will get the Schluter trim, or this tile, the tile that lays flat here will get it. One of the two tiles get the trim to hide the edges, but the piece I cut out, I'm going to set in the back. That way the grains all line up in there, so hopefully that'll look really nice. Then I'll just cut random pieces for around. I may do the, excuse my French, the floor of these niches I might do with the mosaic. I think stuff would sit in there better and it would drain better, but I know it'll look better. So, first course done. Now we're gonna turn this on and turn these off. Okay, there you can see that side. That's all pretty. Okay, it's the boss's laser again. And we're gonna float it around. It gets a little wiggly, but there's that wall. It shoots straight over. Oh, and it hits those two. So, yep, we're all, that first course that I have done is all level. You have to start at the lowest point, which is obviously over there. So I had to cut roughly a quarter off of each of these. I think the back wall was a little less. I think it was 3/16 on those two. That one was a quarter, and that one was a quarter, but I had to shim them up more, so so they'll be right. But that's how you do it, guys. You trim that bottom, start at the lowest ones. That's why I set this one first, so I could get my level, and then you use the laser to get that first course done. We'll go ahead and twist it back around over here and then let it quit bouncing. And you can see in the split over here, that one's just a hair higher, but that little 64th, no one's eye will be able to see. So you don't have to do it perfect. Kind of like that corner seam, It starts out touching and gets a little fat. If I really cared, like over here, these tiles got plumbed, because everything in the shower I want to be plumbed. These sidewalls have to be plumbed for the sliding door frame and for the sliding door to work right. So, but that side doesn't really have to be plumbed really well, so I'm just not getting too into it. This tile here, I did not back butter the wall. That tile I did not back butter the wall. This one and that one I did. You know, the toilet's going to be here, so it's covering those. And these will be more open. The vanity sits there, so honestly, the only time you're going to see this tile is when you open the vanity. The only time you'll see this one is if you look down that little crack beside the vanity. So honestly, I could have just scooted the vanity over and not done the bottom course of honestly either of those two. But that's not me. I wanted this seam in the middle, so it's like, you know what? The vanity is open inside. I'll show you when I get it in tomorrow. You open the doors on the bottom or on the top. It's got 2 drawers at the bottom and 2 doors at the top with frosted glass. And it's all gray and has a matching mirror. So we're going to try and get that in, the toilet in, and all of this first 2 courses all caulked in. I'm probably going to use the sanded caulking just because that's what you're supposed to do. And it's a good thing I blended the sheetrock into the Durarock, because I've been figuring on a 4-foot mark up here. The tiles actually aren't 2 foot wide unless I did 1 inch joints. It's not going to come up to what I thought it was. This is about 2 inches shy. So this window may actually get a piece of trim back under it down to the Schluter trim. Or I may just use the mud and, you know, finish up under there so it's all finished and painted. And I may have to do some more mudding at the bottom for that last little inch. I think I set this one on. I did not have the spacers in it. They'll all get the little blue ones, which are a 1/16. The 2 vertical seams are a little wider. They're almost an 1/8. That one may be an 1/8 at the top, but the horizontals are only going to be a 1/16. That way they caulk in real clean. So the course of tile is only coming to here. Leaves me a huge freaking hole to fill and paint. But like I said, at least I blended them some. So yeah, I marked the wall while I was marking something. I was holding the level or something and wasn't paying attention where my marker was. But alright, let's turn some lights back on. We'll turn the laser off. Don't need it anymore. Yeah, the laser over here, I actually just put a screw in the wall. It's got a little screw mount. And I put it in tight enough so it wouldn't go all the way down to the bottom. It would have been just a little low there. So I screwed it in tight enough so it's holding it up. Probably about an 8, maybe 3. So, but that got me where I needed to be. So I appreciate it, Shane. Thank you very much for letting me borrow that. I went to buy the stupid Milwaukee one, Home Depot over there in Precinct Line Road in Hurst. Shows that they have a limited stock of them, but when I got there they had none. So I had to go borrow the Bosses again. Douchebags. God, I hate Home Depot.